So John White here with Luke 10, and I'm with my friend Toni Daniels. And I want to introduce Toni to you. There you go. Toni and her husband Matt have been missionaries, church planters in Uruguay for 16 years. They're now back in Tennessee. And you are one of our Luke 10 coordinators. You work with Spanish-speaking folks, South America and different places, also for Tennessee. And you have, I think, some really important things to add to this conversation about checking in with Sachet. Talk a little bit, Toni, about where your thoughts have come from about this, the whole thing about joy. And so talk a little bit about that.
Great. Well, my husband and I, for the last 10 years or so, have been involved with an organization called Life Model Works. And that organization focuses on training brain skills in people that have been lost, skills that help us relate to each other, relational skills that help us relate to each other. And Dr. Wilder has written a book. Dr. Jim Wilder founded the movement, and he's written many books. A few of them are The Life Model, which was one of the key beginnings. And then Joy Starts Here, which came out a few years ago. And then Rare Leadership has recently hit. And it's definitely going to get all of this stuff into more, into language that's more accessible, I think, to everyone. Dr. Wilder is a psychologist as well as a pastor, but he leans heavily on the psychologist side of that. So he's done a brilliant work translating brain scientists into language that most of us can grasp. And then there's a whole group of people translating him into normal language these days. So most of my formation comes from that movement.
Yep. And I know you've thought deeply about this and applied it in your own life, even to the degree of writing a book. So I want you to hold up your book. I know this is embarrassing. Hold up your book. There you go. Back to Joy. Give us a couple of sentences about how this relates to what we're talking about here.
I think Back to Joy for me is it's a journey with Jesus of learning to sense his presence with me, and really begins with me checking in with myself. Almost every journal entry. It's journal entries over the last 18 years. And that's where it begins, is me doing a check-in with Jesus. So I think checking in is just one of the most important things we could ever do as humans.
Right. So this is not theory for you. This is real life stuff that you have been living out on your own with the Lord, with your husband, with your family, and with lots of other folks. So I want you to talk, Toni, a little bit about, and this is a lesson within Church 101, and it's the lesson about checking in with Sachet. Talk about the why of that from your perspective.
Thanks. Yeah. I think it's important to understand the why, because a lot of times we start to check in with people and we think, why am I doing this? This is hard. Sometimes it's hard work. Sometimes it's not safe. And we have to repair afterward if we weren't safe for someone or if they weren't safe for us. And we just kind of wonder, why am I doing this? And beyond just wanting to connect with someone, which is just enough in and of itself, but beyond that, checking in has so many amazing benefits. And one of those is that it does grow joy and quiet. And joy is that ability to feel glad to be with someone no matter what they're feeling or going through. And so knowing that someone is glad to be with me, even though I'm mad or even though I'm sad, that's an amazing thing. They don't need to fix me. They don't want to change me. They're just glad to be with me. And the brilliance of that is that brain science has shown that it actually grows a part of our brain that helps create resilience and emotional maturity. And I'll get to that in just a second. But the other thing it does is it creates quiet. The ability to quiet ourselves, to be able to listen to someone else and not want to fix them and not want to change them. That is the single most important factor in mental health, is the ability to quiet yourself, to quiet your own thoughts and your own feelings so that you can see the other people around you and see their heart. So those two together are very powerful skills, and a lot of people have lost those skills. They don't have a basis of joy or quiet in their life. So when they work together, it produces the groundwork necessary for really healthy emotional maturity to happen. And Dr. Wilder and everyone in the movement defines maturity as this ability to stay who you are no matter what you're feeling.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of people when they get angry, they become a different person. So you get road rage situations, lots of situations where people lash out in their anger, or get deeply depressed in their sadness, or have panic attacks in their fear. So we have these visceral physical reactions to these difficult emotions. And emotional maturity means no matter what I'm feeling, I'm the same person.
Mm.
So even though Jesus was dying on the cross, he could still forgive and provide for his mother. He was the same person. He didn't change, didn't curse people and want to kill everyone. You know, he really could hold on to himself. And then also the second thing, maturity, but also resilience. That this joy and quiet piece, as we grow these skills over time, it creates resilience, because we can feel as much pain as we have the joy in our bodies and minds and souls to help feel that. So the pain of the world there's a lot of it, and it can be very overwhelming. But if we have a good basis of joy, then we don't get broken or lost in that pain. We can actually endure it and suffer well, instead of being traumatized by the things that happen to us. So it creates this resilience, this ability to suffer well without breaking in the midst of those things. So joy and quiet seems so simple, and you know, asking someone how they feel sometimes might seem trite, but it's actually very, very important for us to grow.
Amen. Toni, I love what you bring to this conversation. These are incredible things. And I think what it means is, and we're getting a little feedback there, I think what it means is that this is more than just checking in, just me sharing my emotions. There's a critical component of doing that with somebody else who is glad to be with me, whether I'm, you know, happy and excited or tender, or sad, angry, scared. That part of it is also incredibly important. And that literally every time that I check in with somebody with that kind of an environment, I provide that for them, they provide that for me. It literally is reforming the physical part of my brain. I think that's just a remarkable idea.
It really is. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, Toni, I appreciate so much, again, what you bring to LK10 and your work as a coordinator. And thank you for your thoughts about and why they're important. So thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.